If you prefer subtitles, please tap the CC button. Translated subtitles will be displayed. Today's topic is 5 essential considerations before choosing a property in Japan. This is part 2 of the series. In part 1, we focused on 2 topics: considering the possibility of natural disasters and familiarizing yourself with Japanese property terms. If you haven't watched it yet, please refer to the URL below. With today's video, let's focus on 2 factors, specifically the costs associated with renting a property in Japan. We are covering 1. Understand the initial cost structure to avoid hidden costs. 2. Consider the impact on your monthly fees. We are Belonging Japan. On this channel, we will be sharing area guide and how to guide to help you better understand and enjoy Japan. For additional information on this topic and other guides, please visit belongingjapan.com. Don't forget to subscribe, and your likes and comments are always appreciated as they help us understand how to create better videos for you. Let's get started with the first topic. Can you answer this question? In general, how many months' worth of rent is typically required when signing a contract in Japan? To find the answer, let's understand the structure of the initial costs. The initial cost consists of 6 elements: security deposit, gratuity fee, first month rent in advance, agency's fee, guarantor fee, and fire insurance. In Japanese, security deposit is called shikikin, gratuity fee is called reikin, first month rent in advance is meichin, agency's fee is chukai tesurio, guarantor fee is called hosio kaisha tesurio, and fire insurance is called kasaiho kenryo. These terms are written in kanji as follows. The security deposit is intended to cover unforeseen situations, like unpaid rent or property damages. When you move out, the cost of cleaning and restoring the property to its original condition is deducted from the deposit, and any remaining funds are refunded to you. Typically, the security deposit equals 1 to 2 months' rent. Additionally, if you live with a pet, the security deposit is often increased by an additional month. Reikin, a gratuity fee. In Japanese tradition, tenants pay this fee as a gesture of thanks to the landlord. Similar to shikikin, this gratuity fee typically amounts to 1 to 2 months' rent. According to meichin, in Japan, it is common to pay the first month rent in advance. For example, suppose you decide on a new residence in early March due to reasons such as starting a new job, and you sign a contract to move in on March 15th. In this case, since the contract is signed in the middle of the month, it is common to prorate the rent for March, paying for the period from March 15th to 31st, along with the rent for April at the time of signing the contract. So in this case, when signing the contract, you need to pay 1.5 months rent in advance for the meiyashin. In terms of the agency fee, it is a commission paid to the real estate company for helping find your property. On average, it is equal to at least half of the monthly rent. For the guarantor fee, when you rent a property, you will be asked to have a guarantor. For some properties, landlord will ask you to use a guarantor company, rather than asking your friend to be a guarantor. In this case, you are required to pay the company initial guarantor fee. For some properties, the tenant is requested for both a friend and a company as a guarantor. On average, it is equal to at least half of the monthly rent. Lastly, regarding fire insurance, while it's not legally mandatory to enroll at the time of the contract, for most properties, enrollment will be requested. Typically, you'll pay the insurance for 2 years all at once. Fire insurance usually covers 2 key aspects: the building and household possessions, such as electronics and furniture. In typical cases, landlords already have insurance for the building, so it is requested for tenants to have insurance that covers household possessions. Since insurance premiums vary depending on the insurance company, coverage, and insured amount, it's difficult to determine the exact premium. However, For fire insurance on a single-person rental apartment, annual premiums can range from a few thousand yen to over 10,000 yen. For the initial fee, it depends on factors such as the property size and the number of people who will be living there. But as a basic understanding, for the security deposit and gratuity fee, you will typically need around the amount of 1 month's rent each. Additionally, you will be requested to pay the first month's rent in advance, as well as the agency fee and guarantor fee, which are typically around at least 0.5 months' rent each. This is apart from fire insurance. So going back to our first question, typically around 4 months' worth of rent is required when signing a contract in Japan. Now let's move on to the second topic. Consider the impact on your monthly fees. Here is a second question for today. Which of the following are covered by Kyoei-kihi? Let me explain the basics of monthly fees to find the answer. In Japan, apart from your monthly rent, it is common to pay Kyoei-kihi, or kanrihi. In English, Kyoei-kihi is translated as common service charge, and kanrihi is translated as maintenance fee. Both Kyoei-kihi and kanrihi refer to the expenses incurred in managing a building. While the two terms are used interchangeably and have nearly identical definitions, there seems to be significant regional variation in their usage. They cover expenses related to shared areas like hallways, main entrances, elevators, garbage collection points, and their associated electricity bills. Additionally, they include costs for maintaining the cleanliness and safety of common areas, such as exterior wall painting and equipment repairs. It's important to note that these fees are not subject to consumption tax. Typically, these fees amount to around 5 to 10% of your monthly rent. Sometimes, these costs are included in the total rent, while in other cases, they are billed separately. In most cases, having these fees separate from the monthly rent can lower initial expenses. As discussed, initial costs are calculated based on the monthly rent. For example, a room has a monthly rent of 200,000 yen and a kanrihi of 20,000 yen. If the kanrihi is billed separately, the initial cost would be around 800,000 yen. Conversely, if management fees are included in the rent, making the monthly rent 220,000 yen, the initial cost totals 880,000 yen, resulting in an 80,000 yen difference. Now, returning to our second question, which of the following are covered by Kyoei-kihi? And of course the answer is C, maintenance of common areas like hallways and elevators. Especially if you are not comfortable with Japanese, negotiating and choosing a property with real estate agencies might feel even more challenging. We hope this guide has given you a basic understanding of the costs and helped you find the right property for you. We will return with the final factor in part 3 of the series. Thank you for watching and have a great day.